Hi everybody. So in yesterday's class we spoke about different fuels like carbohydrates, proteins and fats, their simplest unit and their stored forms. Today we're going to understand what is energy. The simplest form or the currency of energy is known as ATP or adenosine triphosphate. So all those activities like jumps, like throws, like drag flicks in hockey or swings in golf or a smash in racket sports, all of these activities will use this stored amount of ATP. Now the problem is that this ATP is limited. It can last for only about 4 to 5 odd seconds, and therefore our body has to regenerate this ATP. Our body can do that with two major energy systems. The first one is called as aerobic energy system, which means with the presence of oxygen, and the second one is called as anaerobic energy system, which means without the presence of oxygen. So let's look at the anaerobic energy system. So all of the activities that are high intense but short duration, such as weightlifting, such as 100-200 sprints, such as wrestling, such as 50 meters to 800 meters swim, such as all the forwards in team sports, such as a really fast rally in racket sports, all of these activities require higher amounts of energy and require for it to be available quickly. So the energy demands for these activities is very high. Now the problem is that for oxygen to reach the muscle and then this be available as energy, it takes quite a period of time and the demand is quite immediate. Therefore our body relies on anaerobic energy system, which is without the presence of oxygen but still manages to get you the energy that you need for your training or for your particular sport. So the anaerobic energy system is divided into two sections further. The first one is called as creatine phosphate system, which means that we have some amount of creatine phosphate in our muscle cells, but again which plays an important role in regenerating that ATP to give you the energy that you need. But this creatine phosphate system is also limited and lasts for only about 8 to 10 odd seconds, and therefore your body has to rely on another anaerobic energy system, which is called as lactic acid system. So remember the stored glycogen we spoke about in yesterday's class? This glycogen will break down into glucose, the simplest unit. This glucose will further break down into lactic acid, and this will then give you the energy that you need. Now again, the drawback to this system is that it's again going to last only for about 3 minutes, and then lactic acid gives you the burn or it tightens up your muscles. Therefore you will either have to drop the intensity of the activity or you'll have to stop the activity to prevent this burn or to prevent this tightness. Moving on, all those activities that are low to moderate intensity but for longer duration, such as your marathons, cycling, triathlons, all the midfields in team sports, all of these activities, predominantly endurance activities, will rely on aerobic energy system or in the presence of oxygen. The reason being that the energy demand of these activities or sports is not high at one moment, but they are consistent throughout the entire duration of the activity. Therefore, there is enough time for oxygen to come into play, reach the muscles and give you the energy that you need to sustain a longer duration of activity. Therefore, our body uses the aerobic energy system, which predominantly uses carbohydrates and fats as sources of energy. To just give you a quick revision, all those activities that are high in intensity and shorter in duration will require creatine phosphate and stored glycogen through lactic acid as important energy sources, and all those activities with a low to moderate intensity but longer duration will require the aerobic energy system, which will use carbohydrates and fats as a source of energy. So I hope you enjoyed today's class, and tomorrow we're going to learn about how carbohydrates and training go in together. Thank you.